On February 4th, 2022, we were taught a lesson by Techland, and this lesson showed us how to effectively lose an audience. If you're familiar with the game's history, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but when is enough going to be enough? Update after update, things get better, but they don't really change the game. It's strange to me how such big issues are still present in the game almost 2 years later. There's no other way to put this, but the game is just so unsatisfying to play.
Well, don't play it then if you don't like it.
You know what? That's a good idea. There are only so many times as fans where we should just turn and look the other way. How many times have you been disappointed by Dying Light 2? If you're anything like me, you'd probably say more than you'd like to admit. So what exactly went wrong? Many of you know about the situation with Chris Avellone, but for those who don't, he was the original writer for Dying Light 2 and ended up getting fired in 2020, early on in its development. As I read more into the situation though, apparently he didn't have that big of an impact on the game. Now we don't know how true that is, but I don't know why he would lie. In this Reddit post, someone said that he claimed he only had to do with 5 or 6 New Vegas style stories. And since he was one of the lead writers for New Vegas, he meant that the decision making that you would make in the game would greatly impact the story and the game environment. The game's final story came from the internal dev team. Either way, the story felt like it was rushed, rewritten, it was incoherent, it had loads of plot holes and contradictions, and many would consider the original game's story to be weak. When comparing the two side by side, Dying Light 2 pales in comparison. Considering this is a story-driven game, if the story isn't good, it's not even mediocre, we're not off to a good start. And I get it, sequels are supposed to expand, and they're not supposed to be the exact same thing as the first game. But can you really honestly say to yourselves that Dying Light 2 improved? It grew as a sequel. I mean, I'm happy for you if you can, but anyway, on to the gameplay. I will say this for the last time. Biter grabs and viral leaps. Those things should be able to be changed quickly. As for the other parts of the game, it is challenging, but I don't think that's by design. If anything, it's because of poor design. Everything in the game somehow stacks up against you because it's all done by animations, and there are no timers or communications between the animations with the NPCs. So ultimately, if you find yourself in a bad spot, no matter how good you are at the game, you're stuck and you're dead. Now do that for 400 hours. I'm sorry, but I genuinely just can't bring myself to play this game until all of these things get fixed at some point. And I don't see this happening for months and maybe even years. With the way that they've seemingly designed the game around animations and then updated the physics to make it more like the first game, and they still struggle? I don't know how they're gonna fix that. It's honestly probably an engine problem. Having physics on a big map is probably hard to run. They might have the power to fix that and just simply can't due to technical limitations. Whatever the case may be, it's just such a disappointment. And I love Dying Light 2. It's why I made a whole channel about it. I wanted to get people to talk about the game and maybe start playing it again. And in my recent videos, things started to look up. But when I have to deal with sound issues and gameplay issues every single time I get on, nearly 2 years after release is extremely discouraging. So I think this is unfortunately going to mark the end of me being an only Dying Light 2 channel. If there are any drastic improvements or big updates, I will cover them. But until that happens, I will be posting literally anything that I want. And I'd be happy to take some recommendations. Has Dying Light 2 lost your interest? Am I being too harsh? If the next DLC doesn't fix the game, I don't know what will. Thank you for watching, and please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Face in your face.